Hello, welcome to Blackpool Pleasure Beach, and we're back here for another behind the scenes video as part of our Hidden Secrets series. And today we're going to be looking at the famous Blackpool Pleasure Beach ghost train. So here we are, stood outside the ghost train, and it's running just for me. There's only a couple of us here. The park is closed. It seems so weird to see it so empty. All the cars are going round, empty. As you can see, there is absolutely nobody in there currently. Just an operator and me stood outside it. Is this a roller coaster? The ghost train opened at the Pleasure Beach in June 1930. The bowl slide attraction was demolished to make way for the ride. It was built by a Japanese concessionaire at the park known as Hygate and was known as the Pretzel Ride, named after the company who manufactured the ride in New Jersey and cost $3,400 to purchase. The ride system consisted of small cars that traversed a single electrified rail in the shape of a jigsaw puzzle, the same as it does today. The first record in the cash book appears just 4 weeks after opening in July 1930. It was now referred to as the Ghost Train. It is believed that the name came from a play written in 1927 of the same name, and apparently it was Leonard Thompson who coined the name, making it the first ride to be named as such, a name that is used worldwide now for that style of ride. The concessionaire Hygate was dismissed from the Pleasure Beach in 1931. In a copy of the meeting minutes, it says that the renewal of his concessions were refused after he had copied the ghost train ride in other resorts, and he'd also had a bad attitude towards the company. In 1936, the ride underwent a major upgrade from a single level ride system to the addition of a second, with a track length of 827 feet. Including 399 on the second level. This was masterminded by the renowned architect Joseph Emberton, who also added a new minimalist Art Deco style frontage to the ride, along with a large tower behind sporting the name Ghost Train. Again in 1957, the ride underwent a major rebuild by Jack Ratcliffe, including the recognisable facade and frontage that we see today. It's also believed that this is when the ride was moved from its original location, but more about that shortly. In 1973, it was upgraded once more to include the famous skeleton on the roof, a ghost castle style theming on the facade, and the trains were changed for newer themed vehicles. This is the style that we're familiar with today. The ghost train is also said to be really haunted by a former operator known as Cloggy, due to his choice of footwear. It's said it can often be heard walking around the ride, along with touching passengers as they ride around the skeletons on bike section. Stay tuned to the end of the video for a chance to win some Pleasure Beach tickets and merchandise. Now let's head back to the park to take a behind the scenes walk around the ghost train. Now as you can see behind me, we've got a rather unique view here. I'm stood at the top of the drop on the ghost train. So we're going to take a walk around the ghost train ride itself and see what it looks like from inside. So just before we go inside the ghost train, a little point to make. Andy said that there's a few scenes missing inside the ghost train, and that's because they're preparing it for their Halloween event. So don't be thinking there's a load of blank spaces in there, it's very intentional.
Yeah, we need to be able to say.
So strange. So weird seeing it like this. So the brick wall, that's the tunnel behind it, isn't it? That's the where you do the journey to hell, the other side.
So we are, so it's actually quite a complex building over a number of levels. And we obviously have fire exits that go throughout the building and cut-throughs for staff.
Yeah.
And Claire has her North Park office hidden back there as well. So there is routes through. It's a bit of a labyrinth.
I know it's a slightly different angle in here. It's not. Everyone thinks it's a rectangle, but it's not. It's like it gets bigger on that side, doesn't it? Oh yeah, I recognise this bit. Seems a lot lower when you're walking through it.
It's a bit emptier than normal.
Yeah. Never noticed that before. Hooded figure. Didn't realise what's inside there.
Go out around to the top of the drop, we just can't look down the drop.
Yeah. Little balcony view outside. So here we are at the top of the drop, the famous drop on the ghost train. It goes down the other side. We're not going to walk down it because it's quite steep, but you can see it from here. And you don't normally get to stop here and have a look.
We've got this weird step down here.
Okay.
You just need to be careful. That was section 2. Yeah, and then we're going to go into section 3, but you're going to have to climb down.
So that's the section 2, as they call it, which is the first lift into the second level, and now we're going to go in section 3, which is the next one down.
We're going to go backwards through this and then we'll come back the right way through.
Yeah. So the second turnaround as you come outside. These are always my favourite bits as a kid, heading outside the building. So while we're here, it's a good point to just show you where the former Wild Mouse site was in there, which is now called the Hub. But we believe that the original ghost train used to be sort of a bit further down from where it is today, and it was about where this building is here. And it used to bash the doors back then, didn't it? It used to smash into them. And here we are on the other side of the drop. You can see we started over there. So you've got the ground level where the train enters over there. It works its way around the ground, comes up this lift hill over there, and then comes down this drop on the second level, and then you come back out over here and make your way down the chain lift and back to the ground level. So it is on 2 levels, or technically 3. But if you look at the building from here, it looks like it's a rectangle shaped building. Now it is at the front, but behind it isn't. It's actually quite a triangular shaped building, which is sandwiched between the river caves and also the Wollaston Grommet ride, which is just above it behind there. You can see some of the big animatronics here which are from the ride, and you've got the anti-rollback devices just there which stop the carriages from rolling back down the drop. And then you come up here and you see the mirror, first thing you see. So you've got the electric door openers now, haven't you? They used to just smash into them, didn't they?
Yeah, they changed them last year.
And here's the second lift, which takes you down to the bottom level again. Is it the same chain, that, Andy, that goes through?
No, I think it's on a separate one, actually.
So we think it's a separate chain, not like the Big Dipper where it's one chain. It does line up perfectly with that one, doesn't it? So yeah, we just found out from the engineers it is one chain that runs from the system over there that brings the carriages up underneath and then continues down this side, a bit like the Big Dipper does, with one continuous chain. So there you go. Those of you that come on the ride will recognise this section that brings you down, and then you leave the chain at the bottom here and head a sharp left.
That's a brilliant part of the ride.
Yeah, it is. It's like the dip.
Little drop.
So we're in the what we call the exorcist section. A little kids' room with the freaky doll. So these are from the Trauma Towers ride, if you remember that, which used to be where the fountains are now, in the middle of the Pleasure Beach. So a lot of these were recycled and put in the ghost train, especially the guy on the organ there. I do remember that. That was in Trauma Towers, which was the walkthrough one, if you remember it. Got a floating violin there. These look like the panels that used to be in the haunted swing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Some random rats down there. Everything looks so different in white light. Moving gate. Dead body over there. My favourite section, the Trommel Tunnel. I remember when this used to go all the way around, a lot faster than what it does today. It seems weird to stand in the Trommel Tunnel these days. That cat's in here again. You can see the actual mechanism there, or the actual tunnel, the drum that you're inside. And down there you can see the mechanism for the Trommel Tunnel. So that's the drum that it's in. And you can see the motor just down there that runs the tunnel. I always remember this as a kid. Now, who remembers these from back in the day? My favourite bit as a kid, I used to love these skeletons riding bikes. So let's try a unique view. Let's go around the other side of the skeletons on bikes. You don't normally see this side. So you normally ride around the track on this side here. So let's stand around this side and view them from that angle. Yeah, you can see the track that they run on down there and the little motor in the middle. Childhood memories, that. There you go. And then back out to the end. And you get the loud siren, or the klaxon we'll call it. And just out here you can see where you exit the ride, but you can see where they store all the spare cars down here as well. So you've got the cars that are out of service or not in use, and you can use this piece of track here on the turntable, which will load them on to this track so they can move them around. So there's the maintenance section, so they take them in the indoors and out the outdoors, so there's like a loop in there where they can maintain the cars, bring them back out here and enjoy the main circuit there. I was just asking Andy a question about the drop. So if you look underneath the drop, just down here, there is actually no supports underneath the drops. It's self-supporting from either side of where it comes out of the doors here. Laminated wood, you say, so it's what you'd use on a roller coaster basically. And it's just basically hovering, which is a really unique design. I've got a question for you, Andy. Is this a roller coaster?
No, it's a dark ride.
Yeah, I agree.
It's described as a coaster type ride because of the wand.
There you go. Apparently, a lot of people class this ride as a roller coaster because it has a lift and obviously a drop and it coasts. So technically, on paper, it is. But in my eyes and Andy's, it's a dark ride. But you said it's a coaster type ride. So there you go. So don't put it on your coaster count. So we'll talk a little bit about the previous incarnation of the Ghost Train. So it was called the Pretzel Ride, which was on one level, and it was basically the ride system that you see there. But like I said, it was actually originally located further down here. It's long been believed that the Ghost Train, or Pretzel Ride, has occupied the same spot since it opened. But after doing a lot of research and being given some rare photos, we can see that this wasn't the case. The original Ghost Train stood on part of what was the Wild Mouse site, with the Mouse opening in 1958, and the Ghost Train moved to a similar site just to the side of it during the Jack Ratcliffe overhaul in 1957. If you look at these old maps, one from 1929 showing the old bowl slide that the Ghost Train replaced. This one from 1938 shows the Ghost Train building in its original location. And finally, a much later map that shows the current building further to the right and the Wild Mouse roller coaster in its old position. And this old picture shows the original Pretzel Ride on the Mouse site, and another building that it would later replace as the new Ghost Train. And finally, this picture from 1951, showing the Joseph Emberton design occupying part of the Wild Mouse site that would replace it 8 years later. So that's where the Wild Mouse was behind, and it used to be around here, the building for the Pretzel Ride. And then sometime, we think, in the 1950s, it was then moved up here to accommodate the Wild Mouse being built at the bottom. This was added in the 70s and 80s, all the new facade with the scenery inside. And these towers where the cars come out. Always remember them as a kid. And you've got the dragon up there at the top. You've got the train on the top of the building and the big skeleton on the other wing over there. Would you like a chance to win 2 adult tickets to the Pleasure Beach, along with some pieces of park merchandise? Well, all you have to do is count how many Mr. Funshines that you see throughout this entire video. That includes this one. Simply enter your answer along with your name into the comments section below. The winner will be drawn in the spring and posted on our social media channels, so please follow those too. For full terms of the competition, please see our website below. Okay, so we've walked around the ride. So shall we take a ride on it? Let's go. Okay, here we go. Go up the chain lift onto the second level. Back down the chain lift. Thank you very much for watching our video here for Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Big thank you to the team for letting me in the park today whilst it's closed to film the ghost train. I'll see you in the next one very soon. Bye for now.
The rides, the shows, the fun, the thrill, the joy.